ton of those frames to make, and it's supposed to rain for the next 2 days here. It's kind of rained this morning, but it's kind of looking cloudy out there this evening, and I need to be able to cut these every evening after work so I can get them all done and glued before the weekend. I've seen a bunch of dust collection things on the videos for this, because if you saw my last video, this is a messy saw, especially with that Dado blade. Crap everywhere. So I'm gonna rig up something, and hopefully my little shop vac will be enough suction to collect most of it in here. I have this shelf. Basically, it was a French cleat shelf over there on the wall. I put too much weight in it. I had about, I don't know, 10 gate hanger screws and a bunch of brackets for gates in there. Just kept putting them in there when I found some, and I probably had 20 pounds of stuff in here, and it fell down one day. I just never put it back, and it's gonna work perfect. So all the way down to the table, I have 2 inches of clearance between my saw here and the casing. So I think I'm gonna go with just a little above that. I think this sticks up about 1.5 inches, so I'll probably go with like 1 3/4 inches. That way I got that little gap right here that people put on theirs to catch some as it comes through, especially since I'm gonna have the big Dado gap in there that's not gonna allow all of it to suck through. I think that's all I'm gonna do, and hopefully it'll catch a lot of it. I'll cap this one off. I saw several people with just foil over theirs, and then get this cut down on the table saw, and we'll try it out. I guess because of the 1/2 inch plywood I didn't account for. Anyway, I think it'll still work better than nothing. We'll try it out and see. I forgot to close that. Okay, so I forgot to close it. That kind of shot right out of there. I guess quite a bit does come out of there. I wish I had a Y adapter for my vacuum. But for now, I'm going to do it like I saw on several people's videos. And we'll see if it shoots out of there now. Yeah, I'm gonna go see if they have a Y adapter, because I'm losing a lot right here as the blade comes around and kicking it down to my table. So maybe if I can get me a hose in here and in here, then I can get rid of most of that dust. So I missed the video for this. I guess I was kind of frustrated and kind of getting flustered and trying to get it figured out. But I finally got it, and as you can see, I just put a second hole in there with another hose that comes from the exhaust port on the guard. I eventually actually just added a second vacuum cleaner and plugged that hole because I just wasn't enough suction. The shop vacs, I guess if you don't have the bigger hose, I think it's what, the 3-inch hose on some of the rigid brands, the little 1.5 just doesn't have enough CFMs to pull all that dust in and everything. But yeah, I show you here, but as you'll see later in the video, I basically have 2 hoses and 2 vacuums running, and that picked up almost all the fine dust and everything. It was just leaving the bigger chips from the Dado that would blow into that garage door and then all over the tabletop there. So every 5 or so frames, I would just kind of, or 5 or so boards, I guess, I would vacuum it all up, kind of clean it so it didn't get out of hand at the end. But it worked out pretty well. I didn't have much. I went kind of around the shop and kind of rubbed my finger and everything, and there wasn't a lot of fine dust everywhere, so at least it got that part, and then it made it pretty easy to clean up afterwards. Okay, so the dust collector sort of works. at least it directs most of it and it's not flying all over the place, which is what was happening earlier, so I can clean up afterwards. This hose keeps popping out, that's one of the problems, so I'm going to have to tape or glue it in there when I get ready to really start cutting. And I think my shop vac is not really that powerful because it's one of the, you know, small hoses. It's not the big hose. So if I had a real, you know, dust collector or a better shop vac with the bigger hoses on it like I used to, the rigid one I had, it finally gave out. So anyway, I'm still going to use it, be able to cut in here. It'll collect most of the dust, and I can just clean up in between a few, you know, cut about 8 of them and then clean up a little bit and then cut them some more. So got that done. That works good enough. My next problem is, you probably can't see it on the video here. Which one is it here? Yeah, this one here. Okay, so basically this is just, you can tell just a little bit there that this side is thicker than this side. And if I flip it over, they look the same. And then if I flip this one over, it's thicker and thicker. So what it is it's this board. You know, it's this old, crappy kind of particle board that sitting in a garage or wherever this thing's been stored throughout the owners. You know, this just soaks up water, shrinks, soaks up water. And so what I've got is unlevel this way. Seems to be okay left and right, which is fine. But this way it's not level. As you can see right here, as I come out, after I get about an inch to so, yeah, right out, just right at an inch, the teeth catch and it starts walking up. And then there it's starting to get hard to pull. So it's coming up at an angle as I come out. You know, too bad it's not straight to right there. I'd be okay. 3.5 inches is all I need. I could go get some MDF, make a whole tabletop and all that, but I'm constrained on time, so I got this piece of scrap back there off of an old shelf. I know it's nice and flat, and I'm just going to try my best using this method right here to just try and get this. I'm going to raise it up to where it doesn't hit any teeth until right back here at the very, very back. If I can get it to just touch the teeth there, then I'll just come along and move it here, you know, forward and backwards, and make sure that it just barely touches the teeth all along there, and I'll be good to go for half laps. I probably turn it 90 degrees and put it right about right here and check it that way just to be sure that I don't need to go this way or that way. And then I'll have a level surface that I can get started and cut. I'll just clamp this on here, or maybe I'll just put a couple screws because I'm going to replace this when I get time to make an actual table. I'm going to make that Mr. Sawdust table from the radial arm saw guy. And then I'll probably never have to change this again. So if I can do that, this will be a great saw. It works good. Everything seems to turn, and you know, the miter's off and some stuff like that. It says it's at 15 degrees right now, but it's pretty darn square right on the blade right now. So, but anyway, that's my next chore, is just get this a little bit level so I can start cutting. Okay, I don't know if you can see that gap or not. Get that over the way. I should have made it a little longer. So right out here at the edge, it almost touches. I touched it, raised it up just a touch. And then come all the way over here, right where my board is, and you're a good 1/2 inch off right there. So this thing's got quite a bit of a lean to it. So yeah, right about 1/2 inch or so. So it's got a ways to come up. What can I use for a spacer in there? I think I can use 2 pieces of that Luan plywood. We already have some strips cut from the shelving that we redid in the house, and decided not to use because it was just overkill and didn't really need them. So we put those in there. Put this up. Might be too much. Too much, even though it looks like it wasn't. Let's try one. That's quite a bit better. Should be able to get that guy under there. It sure looks like it. Not quite. Let's see what we can do. I'll go find something that's just a little bit thinner. All right. So I found some little 1/8 blanks that I used one time, and I think that's going to make it just pretty close to me. And since they're metal, I can just put them one down here and one down here on this end of the fence. And that's a pretty stiff board, so it should be just fine. And now I'm pretty close all the way out. Now I've got it level. Let me try one more test piece and see how it comes out. Alright, so that was too deep, but it does look fairly even on both sides. One more time to adjust my depth, and I think I'm ready to start cutting. Finally. Alright, so I'm making some progress. I've got three glued up already, getting ready to cut the fourth one here in just a little bit. It's been working out pretty good. My dust collection wasn't the greatest, but I think it's because these shop vacs and stuff just don't have enough power for all the chips and things. I ended up getting 2 vacuums. I got our old Cyclone one right there from the house. We don't use it anymore. It's just sitting in a closet. But it's been good because it's pouring down rain again this evening. And then it just kind of comes and goes. So I'd have to be constantly moving this in and out as the rain stops and starts. So I had to figure out something to do, and this is what I did. So I ended up putting the house vac on this because it was just shooting out of here, and then the shop vac on the little table that I made. And it seems to be picking up most of the dust portion of things, which is great because then I don't have it floating around the shop and all of that kind of thing, which is what really gets messy. The chips, after 1 or 2, I'm just gonna sweep it up. It is also keeping it confined to kind of this area right here. As you can see, there's a little bit on the floor, but it's not going way over by the door or way back here or anything like that. So I've got a tarp to cover up the welder here on this side, but other than that, it's not even coming there. It's most of it's getting caught in the box, and then of course it's shooting down here on the floor. So it seems to be confined to this little track and area right here, which is perfect because, you know, when I'm done, I can just take the shop vac and clean that up. That's what I'm working on now. And, you know, just a few each evening and I'll be done. If I can get 4 done per evening, that'll be great because then I can still finish by Saturday, have them all glued up, and start routing on them and get my wife to start staining. So we shall see. So I wanted to do that just to see how long it takes me to cut one. And looks like it's about a little less than 8 minutes. Well, like I always say, just get out there and do something. Don't be afraid to learn or try something new. I was able to solve this problem with what I had on hand and make do because I had to get things done. Didn't have the luxury of going out and buying stuff and trying to fix the whole table and rebuild everything and do all of that. I had to figure it out and get it done. And I was able to get through my project, got all the frames done in time for the weekend to get them glued up and everything. And as I always say, just get out there and do something. We thank you for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.